And later, the perfect destination for Roz. Cars, cars, cars everywhere. We'll be right back.
We are starting to see a couple of problems because of that snow. We've had a couple crashes on the tri-state, one northbound near Route 132. That one's been cleared up, and now we're getting word of a car in the ditch northbound on the tri-state right around Milwaukee Avenue. So we've got Chopper 7 heading in that direction as well. The travel times are still pretty low, but give yourself a little extra time this morning with that precipitation throughout the area. Judy, Jose, back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Roz. And
everybody, we are showing you how a car is made today. We're at the Ford plant, the Chicago Assembly Plant here on the south side. This actually opened up in 1924, and it's been making cars ever since. It's gone through several renovations, and now this facility is huge. It's actually 2.8 million square feet, and the 3 vehicles that are made here are made only in Chicago. And I want to introduce you to the Ford Division Branch Manager, Mike Terrell. Good morning.
Good morning, Roz. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. I mean, if I can't be at the auto show, at least I can be here where they're making the cars.
Exactly. Well, we're very proud of the fact that the Ford 500, the Ford Freestyle, and of course the Mercury Montego are built right here in Chicago. We're very proud of that heritage here. These are world-class products we're building right here in Chicago. They're redefining the car market in terms of customer features and benefits, overall value and safety.
Well, tell us a little bit about the Ford 500, which has only been around for less than a year.
That's right. This is Ford's flagship sedan, and it's loaded with customer features and benefits. And the best thing about the 500 is that it's a mid-size car, but when you get in the vehicle, it really has a feel of a car much bigger than that. You will not find more interior passenger room in terms of legroom, headroom than the Ford 500. That's for both the front seat passengers and the rear seat passengers.
So for tall people like myself.
Yeah, in fact, I'm about 6 feet tall, and take a look at what I can do. There's so much room in here, I can literally walk through the end of the vehicle.
Okay, I'm going to let you do that because look at that. That's pretty wild, and you did it so quickly, too.
That's right, and in fact, with a vehicle that has so much interior room, you'd probably think, well, you'd have to sacrifice trunk space. Not with the Ford 500. That's the genius of this. In fact, this is the largest trunk of any sedan in North America. You have 21.2 cubic feet of trunk space. Really? Now, to demonstrate what that means, we've actually loaded this up with some cargo. In a mid-size sedan, you'd expect maybe you get 3 or 4 golf bags. Well, let's take a look and see how many we got in the 500. I'm just going to pull them out.
Okay.
Let's count them out.
All right.
Here's one.
And we have a lot of golf enthusiasts back at the station, too, so I'm sure they're paying very close attention.
2.
Wow, look how deep that is. That goes pretty far back there.
Here's 3.
Oh, okay, Mike.
We're not done yet.
You are cracking me up here.
5.
All right, that's a lot of trunk space.
6.
Oh my gosh.
We're not done yet, Ross.
I see that.
7.
Oh my gosh.
8.
All right.
Golf bags.
You know, for a working mom like myself, I would be using that for groceries.
Incredible. Now, the Freestyle also has a couple unique features. Let me show you about that real quick.
You know what? We're going to have to look at that during our next segment.
Okay.
Because you showed us so many fabulous things about the 500.
All
We
right,
kind of
great.
ran out of time.
Okay.
But 3 vehicles made here, and a little later on, we're going to show you how they're made. So stick around for that. We'll be back after a break. Yeah, we've had a couple of weather-related problems. It's cold enough that we're seeing water main breaks. We've got one in Franklin Park at Grand and Maple. And Chopper 7 over the north end of the tri-state, where we've got a crash northbound near Milwaukee Avenue. Tow truck on the scene, pulling that car out of the ditch. Fortunately, it's not causing a big delay. And we'll be right back after a break.
the time right now. Traffic time for you. Here is Roz.
Hey, guys. It's getting a little crowded out there on the roads, but, you know, it could be a lot worse with that precipitation we're seeing. Chopper 7 is over the Tri-State Tollway right around I-90 in that O'Hare corridor, and we're starting to see a little bit of volume picking up there, but no serious incidents, which is a good thing. We do have one stall eastbound on 8094 right around the state line, and it is blocking a lane, so we're seeing a little bit of a tight pocket there. Let's look at your travel times. They're still in pretty good shape right now. The Kennedy is under 25 minutes from O'Hare to downtown, and outbound we have a couple heavy pockets at the west end, but that too is less than 25 back to the airport. Edens looks good, 22 either way, Lake Cook to the junction. Inbound side of the Ike is about 17 minutes from Manheim to the Circle. Outbound hits the brakes at Austin, and we're still under 20 all the way to Wolf Road. Stevenson's starting to fill in. We're getting close to a half hour from the Tri-State to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound in good shape, no delays. And the Ryan slows at the south end. Again, on the bridge, it's up to 24 minutes, 95th through downtown. A little bit of a delay on both 57 and the Bishop Ford. Ford hits the brakes at Cottage Grove right now. I want to introduce you to a couple of fascinating women who have been working here at the Ford plant for quite some time. We've got a mother-daughter going on here, Cheryl and Trish Dillingham. And Cheryl, how long have you worked here?
It'll be about 29 years in a few months.
And we were just chatting earlier about some of the amazing changes that have gone on in the plant since you started.
Yes, it has. When I first started in '76, there was a handful of women. Now it's more than half, and I've seen big changes.
Well, you must have learned a lot of different areas in this plant.
Oh, yes, I worked in every department in the plant, including material handling is my last one to go.
Very amazing. Thank you so much. And Trish, you were so proud of your mom that you got a job here, too.
Yeah, what can I say?
How long have you been here?
I've been here 14 years so far.
And tell me a little bit about some of the things you've done.
Well, I've worked on the assembly line starting off, and then I started helping train people work together as a group, and now I'm a team leader, so I've come a little bit way.
I love the fact that we have women working in a traditional male field. How does that make you feel?
Really good.
Yeah.
Feel like leaders.
I love it. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining us. 2,600 employees here at this plant, and they crank out a lot of vehicles. We'll show you how in just a bit. Judy, Jose, back to you.
The sisters doing it, huh, Roz? Who like that? Thank you very much.
Well, even with the snow, we're not seeing any serious problems. We do have that one stall eastbound 8094 right at the state line, but other than that, just normal stuff out there. Take a look at the Dan Ryan. The bridge is pretty slow. Your travel time is about 25 minutes from 95th through downtown. Now, here at the Ford plant, there are 3 different vehicles that are made. This is one of them, the Ford Freestyle. It's kind of a combination car SUV, but one of the cool things about it, I want you to take a look inside. Every single seat is able to fold down for flexibility. They can put an 8-foot ladder in there. Kind of a unique feature in the car here. And actually, coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to show you how these cars are made. It's a pretty fascinating thing. We'll be right back. Judy, Jose, back to you in the studio.
Looking forward to it, Roz. Thank you. But when you think of car manufacturing, you probably think Detroit. However, the Ford Chicago assembly plant at 130th and Torrance is the company's oldest operating plant in the world.
Well, that plant had a grand reopening last August, and as Roz found out, it now has new cutting-edge technology.
The Ford plant at 130th and Torrance has been around almost as long as Ford itself, but you'd never know it from the looks of things inside. After its most recent renovation, this plant uses the industry's latest technology in building cars. Robots, 486 to be exact, do 100% of the welding.
There are 3 major processes that go into assembling a vehicle: body shop, paint, and final assembly. Body shop, where a sheet metal comes together.
It's a process called flexible automation. Here, robots lift the roof, laser cameras take measurements, the roof is positioned in place and welded to the frame. The flexible manufacturing system, distinct to this plant, allows 3 models of cars to be built on one frame. Those models include the Ford Freestyle, Ford 500, and Mercury Montego. A 4th model, a Mercury crossover, is expected to be added later this year. Don't be fooled by all this automation. The human factor is still quite prevalent. This plant employs 2,800 employees who do everything from electronics and computers to many jobs on the assembly line. This station is where the instrument panel is installed. Down the line, exhaust systems, mufflers, and catalytic converters are lifted by machine and installed manually. After the cars are painted, the doors are removed and all the components are installed, from the window mechanisms and door locks to the speakers and speaker wiring. At the end of the line, the final fit and final inspection. 12 hours and 2,600 parts later, this Ford 500 is on its way to Kendall Ford in Eugene, Oregon. And I I get to drive it off the assembly line. I love my job. Woohoo! Don't you just love the smell of a new car? Oh my gosh, this is great. The original building was 640,000 square feet. After 13 expansions, it's now 2.8 million square feet. Managing a facility that size has its challenges.
I absolutely love my job. So the challenges I think that I go through in a typical day, I actually look at them as opportunities to improve the facility.
This plant has the capacity to build 300,000 vehicles a year. Since its humble beginnings in 1924, it's produced 6 million cars.
Wow, that's very impressive.
Impressive,
Roz.
yeah, that plant.
Isn't that interesting? I learned so much while I was getting a tour around this facility.
It's just a massive facility at that, too, Raj. You showed us just how big it is and just how impressive it is with the robotics combined with, as you said, the human factor there.
You know, one of the things I asked them when they told me how they have so much automation here is how that affected the employees and if people actually lost their jobs. And the answer to that is no. What they still need are electricians to run the computers that program the robots, and everybody else just got moved around and relocated into other areas, and it actually added jobs because they needed more people in new areas of automation. So it's a fascinating story.
That's great. And we know that's the plan that the city is very, very proud of. Yeah.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I want to introduce you to one of the group leaders. This is Mark Schmidtke. Good morning, and thank you for letting me see all this.
You're very welcome. It was a pleasure to have you here. We'd like you to come back and visit us whenever you can. So on behalf of Chicago Assembly Plant, we'd like to present you with a water bottle,
That I can use.
a nice T-shirt that says Freestyle 4500, which we are building right here.
Yeah, I need the safety vest.
And remember, since safety is first here, remember your safety vest and your safety goggles.
Okay, all right. You know what? I'm going to hold on to these, and I'm going to put these on later when I actually do some work in the plant. They tell me they're going to put me to work here. Everybody wants me to do extra work.
And right now.
Judy, I'll say back to you.
I hope they put special markings on the car you work on, Raj, so we'll know. We'll look out for
You don't want those, right?
Don't want it.
Exactly.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Roz.
Yeah.
Thanks, Trace.
Time for us to check in with Roz and see what's on the roadways this morning. Hey, Roz.
Hey, Jose. I have safety in my heart. Check it out. Look at the back of this vest. It's my middle name. Safety is my middle name. And you know what? We're going to talk about that in just a second here at the Ford plant. But we have a couple situations that we're not too safe on the roads. First, I want you to take a look at the Dan Ryan camera right on the bridge there because we've got some very heavy traffic. We had a crash earlier inbound right underneath the Ike at the Circle interchange, and that's still causing big delays. Chopper 7 has moved over to the west end of the Eisenhower around First Avenue, where we again have some very heavy traffic, very typical rush hour delays with some of that snow Tracy's talking about. We are seeing a rise in the travel time. So let's go through them right now, starting with the Kennedy, which is getting close to 25 to 30 minutes from O'Hare into downtown. Outbound side very slow at the west end, and that travel time is about 30 minutes back to O'Hare. Eden's 25 or so either way between Lake Cook and the Junction. Inbound side of the Ike, real tight through the avenues, at least 20 minutes Manheim to the Circle, and outbound hits the brakes at Austin. Inbound side of the Stevenson, it's about 35 minutes from the Tri-State to the Drive. Outbound, we had a car fire, a crash right underneath the Ryan. That has been cleared away, but we're still looking at a heavy pocket there. But the travel time, not bad, 24 minutes out to the Tri-State. Inbound side of the Ryan, pretty tight because of that earlier crash. I'm bumping that travel time up to about 28 minutes from 95th through downtown. No other serious problems on the tollways. And here at the Ford plant at 130th and Torrance, they are starting to drive some of those cars off the assembly line. I'm going to step out of the way here so you can see, but they've got a lot of cars lined up. Here comes one of them right now, and they go into some separate testing areas just for a final inspection. They really didn't trust me to go on the line and do any work, so instead they said I could do a little bit of test driving, but still got my safety goggles and my vest, and I'm ready to rock and roll. Judy, Jose, I'll make sure that I tell you which cars I drive so you all don't buy them.
Now, they think letting you drive is going to be safer.
Just shut up.
I know what you really want to say. Thanks, Roz.
And it really depends where you're at as to how bad the traffic is. We do have some heavy delays on the inbound side of the Ryan. We can take a look at our Sears camera. We had an earlier crash at the Circle interchange, so that travel time is close to a half hour from 95th through downtown. But on the other hand, Chopper 7 is over 355 around I-88, and that is not too bad right now. So really, again, with some of that snow falling, could be a little tricky getting around. Give yourself a little extra time. Judy, Jose, back to you in the studio.
Ross, thank you very much.
Hey, Ross?
And some high travel times out there. Stevenson's up to 40 from the Tri-State. Take a look outside at the Dan Ryan. That's at least a half an hour because of the early crash Circle Interchange. And in Long Grove, we're getting word of a crash at Lake Cook and Hicks. Judy, back to you.
Hey, Roz?
You know, I want to thank everybody here at the Ford plant for letting us see how fascinating it is to make cars. 2,600 employees. And what do you do? What's your name and what do you do?
Anjamine ISO department.
Bobby, pre-delivery.
Monique Trim.
Kalinda, QC.
Liz Trim.
Rod Evans, spinal area.
Jesus Central.
Hugh Ferguson, government regulations.
Ron, pre-delivery.
Patty, pre-delivery.
Doug, quality control.
Dave, quality control.
Nick, executive garage.
Al, engineering.
John, pre-delivery.
Dave, quality control chassis.
And they actually trust me. They're going to let me work the line. Okay, Nick, let's go to work. Say goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Oh, my gosh, I'm so nervous. I'm going to build a